horsepowers, acceleration, speeding, danger, and adrenaline. The common features which can be found both in the experience of the speed riding and in the life of the air rescuers rushing to the scenes by helicopter. The control of the enormous power requires practice and sobriety. The lack of all these often leads to tragedy. Motorbiking in Hungary and on our continent as well has its renaissance nowadays. More and more people are using motorbikes on the roads. The number of the licensed motorbikes is also increasing year by year. But at the same time, unfortunately, there is an unfavorable tendency in the safety of motorbiking. The safety risk of these highly maneuverable vehicles is above average. This is the only category of the road users on our continent whose death rate has increased in contrast to the generally decreasing tendency. The rate of the motorcyclists in the number of deadly road accidents was 9.5% until 1996, but it reached 19% in 2003 already. If the traffic safety of the motorcyclists shows an unchanged tendency in the coming years, then in 2010, out of 3 road tragedies, the subject of a deadly accident will be a motorcyclist in Europe. The ratio today is 1 out of 6. Last year, 118 motorcyclists lost their lives on the roads of our country. That is, on average, every third day, motorbiking takes its toll. At the same time, unfortunately, several motorcyclists choose the forbidden way, that is, in favor of a quicker advance. They do not fear to commit very rude offenses, thus endangering their own lives and body integrity, and those of the other participants in the traffic. In road accidents, the motorcyclists are much more vulnerable than those sitting in vehicles, thus the smallest mistake can have unforeseeable consequences. The main reason of the motorcyclist's accident is applying the non-suitable speed. Its ratio is about 50%. The second underlined cause of accident is not observing the rules of changing direction, forward going and turning, 18%, while the third one is incorrect overtaking, 12%. The number of the motorcyclists' accidents caused by alcohol consumption varies, showing an increasing tendency though. It can be said that every 10th motorcyclist's accident happened under alcoholic influence. An irresponsible maneuver, a sudden acceleration, and an offense judged acceptable by the motorcyclists can lead to unforeseeable consequences, tragedies, and to the destruction of human lives. The NAS, National Ambulance Services, Hungarian Air Ambulance Public Company, has been providing its basic function, air ambulance services, since the 1st of January 2006. It is a company that is giving medical support and attendance at the most critical stage, using special equipment adapted to the unusual environment on aircrafts. The new air ambulance species that was founded in November 2005 is 100% owned by the NAS, therefore it is state-owned. After a successful public procurement tender procedure in March 2006, the first new EU standard helicopter arrived, that was soon followed by 2 others. The winner of the tender was the Austrian Heliair GmbH, which company, together with the Austrian Auto Club, is one of Europe's largest business, owning and operating such a solid helicopter fleet. As the result of the public procurement procedure, in addition to the already active 3 helicopters, 2 more joined in 2007. The PC now, with these 5 Eurocopter 135 aircrafts and with its own 3 French Ecurel helicopters that are currently undergoing major maintenance, will be able to cover all Hungary from 7 base stations, allowing that almost the total population has access to a 15 minutes effective air ambulance service that ensures equal opportunity. The EC-135 is a multi-purpose 2-engine light helicopter. Its noise and vibration level is the lowest in its category due to its Fenestron ventilator foam tail rotor and the new 4-blade bearingless main rotor system BMR. The low vibration and the size of the rotorcraft makes it an ideal air ambulance helicopter. Let's turn back to the connection between the motorcyclists, the helicopter and the air rescuers. The extraordinarily high number of motorcyclists accidents shown previously provides daily work for the Hungarian air ambulance. Last year, 159 out of 1,757 accidents suffered by motorcyclists were treated by professional staff and crew on helicopters. With an extraordinarily high cases in the capital and its vicinity, half of this amount in the author's region, while the ratio was about the same on the rest of the bases. Our core activity is available from 6 o'clock in the morning to dawn. We are flying under NAS control. The tasks are assigned after analyzing the requests arriving at the 104 and 112 emergency numbers. These are evaluated by NAS competent decision-making team and directed to the closest based helicopter crew. The decision-making team decides what type of rescue should be alarmed to the scene. This depends on the momentary free capacity, accessibility, distance, and first of all, the severity of injury. The Medicopter is alarmed by telephone or radio available at the air bases. After data recording, the scene is accurately identified with the help of a computerized map program. After feeding the set coordinates into the navigational system of the Medicopter, the exact direction, distance, and map are shown on one of the displays. The pilot gets information about the actual meteorological conditions on the internet. If the accident happens on a motorway or on a road protected by fences, it doesn't cause any problems to the air rescuers because there is a strong pair of wire cutter deployed for this purpose in their equipment. Another special type of strong scissors are used for cutting the motorcyclist's leather clothes. The medical equipment of a Medicopter equals that of a hospital intensive care unit. The stretcher is light and can easily be moved on wheels. It can be taken out from the helicopter either through the back or the side doors. The trunk and the head of the injured can be adjusted in different angles. Each of our patients treated on the Medicopter is transported in a vacuum mattress. This is the most suitable immobilization technique for severe polytraumatic patients and with severe limb and hip injuries, which often occur with motorcyclists. We provide every patient with skull, neck and spinal injuries with adjustable stiff necks. These are available in children's sizes as well. Mobile module boxes are linked to the central monitor on board, which can be used outside the helicopter on the scene of the accident. Such are the pulse oximeter, capnograph and the blood pressure meter. Patients with spinal injuries are treated with steroid therapy with megadoses, whose administration is carried out by perfusers. Via the second perfuser, anesthetics and narcotics are administered for the injured. The Oxylog 2000 respirator can be used in both controlled and assisted modes. Every injured gets oxygen through a facial mask or nasal catheter if mechanical breathing is not needed. The volume resuscitation of a patient being in hypovolumic shock is done by crystalloid and colloid solution or by hyperhas infusion. In addition to peripheral vein, we can provide central vein or via intraossal. In volume resuscitation, we take the principle of permissive hypertension into consideration. This strategy is applied mainly with patients with blunt abdominal, chest and hip injuries. In the treatment of patients with brain injuries, the target is to reach the suitable cerebral perfusion pressure. For the treatment of chest-injured patients, thorax and pleura drains are available. An important rule in air ambulance to stabilize the status of the injured on the scene as soon as possible and to complete every procedure before taking off because treatment on board is more complicated. Beside the scoop and run aspect, we try to give a treatment of high level, not forgetting about keeping golden hour to which the helicopter gives us a great help. The rescue ranges in Hungary are determined in a way so that any of the 6 medicopters should reach the scene in 15 minutes. Mainly ambulance doctors, anesthetists, traumatologists and emergency doctors work on board of the helicopter. The staff consists of a specialist, a paramedic and a pilot who has not got any medical qualification, but during the time spent together they learn more and more, thus being able to assist with the treatment of the severe injured. Every member of the staff is expected to have a good command of a foreign language. The documentation is done by a computerized program, which makes the later statistical analysis easy. The development of our air bases are underway at present. Our helicopters are parked on different airports. A base exclusively for air ambulance can be found in Balatonfüred only, in one building with the ambulance station. This building meets every demand. Its landing place is capable of night landing with switching on the lights from the cockpit of the Eurocopter from the distance of several kilometers. The Hungarian air ambulances treat more injured year by year. The number of the cases continues to rise and there are more and more motorcyclists to be treated. Hopefully before not too long, the air ambulances will be available on new bases for rescue around the clock.